It appears that the best advice on cybersecurity is the following. If you have information or data that you cannot afford to lose, don't put it on the internet. This advice goes beyond earlier admonitions not to use the internet unless you have the cyber defense to protect your information. The earlier advice was too easily given and offered false hope. The new advice may be hard to swallow, but gives fair warning. Like the 1988 cyber worm, the 2015 Office of Personnel Management OPM cyber attack should again be a wake-up call. But is it? As the White House press secretary offhandedly stated, so to say that our computer systems in the federal government are at risk is not news. There is reason to wonder. However, the 4 million federal workers, past and present, this is no longer a risk. Instead, it is a real problem, as they are left to deal with the aftermath of this neglect and wonder what could happen next. Neither smart nor trusted, the nation's cyber defense is inadequate. When it comes to cyber security policy, the government has become an inward-looking silo. Industry, unwilling to partner with government information sharing stakeholders without incentives, is awaiting the government offer of indemnification needed to lubricate its senior executive decision and commitment process. Government offers of tax incentives, investment credits, and targeted investment have failed to purchase the full-throated cooperation of industry. The reason? These measures fail to deliver a return on investment sufficient to tilt the calculated risk algorithm of industry executives. First, let's locate the point of responsibility. What we find is the classic mismanagement practice of split responsibility involving Office of Personnel Management, Department of Homeland Security, Department of the Interior, and Department of Commerce, with its National Institute of Science and Technology. This is a lot to digest here when looking for a single point of responsibility. Simply put, you cannot locate the point of responsibility. Of course, there is the White House cybersecurity framework, still seeking followers, despite a year spent partnering with industry in preparation for its 2014 release. And then there is the offhanded statement by the White House press secretary, no point of responsibility to be found here. Then there is Congress, unable to fashion a cyber bill and presuming that they know enough about cybersecurity tradecraft or private industry business practice to do so in the first place. Important in all this is cyber information sharing, stalled because Congress refuses to indemnify industry stakeholders, claiming that industry partners will take advantage of the protection. Again, trust enters the picture, not in a good way. Not only is cyber information sharing essential to understanding the cyber threat in terms of forensic-based outcome patterns, pattern-based bad actor attributions, and model-based consequences, it should be the foundation of cyber insurance. In its absence, the insurance underwriters are forced to employ a cyber risk management surrogate of compliance for assessing cyber risk and setting premium rates. In short, the blind are leading the blind. The one bright spot in all this is the OPM Inspector General, who is on record as arguing for shutting down some of the systems involved because of security flaws that could potentially have national security implications. In an effort to find cover for the OPM cyber attack, the White House press secretary pointed out that industry has cybersecurity vulnerabilities as well when he stated, "This is a risk, by the way, that's shared by the private sector. Well, not exactly. Here's a newsflash. The government and industry operate under very different value propositions with very different obligations. The first obligation of government is to protect national security. For private industry, the obligations are to protect brand and ensure financial well-being. Hence the industry insistence on taking calculated risks, obtaining indemnification for uncapped exposures, and purchasing cyber insurance coverage. Congressional funding for future federal cybersecurity protection activities should be reserved for those organizations that acknowledge their part in the OPM cyber incident and make an explicit public commitment to close the gaps that contributed to it. Some questions need answers. Why was the Department of the Interior involved at all? Does it have cybersecurity skills? Is the highly touted Einstein inadequate after all? If so, where did it fall down? Is OPM's eGov Cyber and National Security Unit up to the job with its continuing stream of political appointees rotated in for 2-year stints? To what extent are DHS's National Cyber Security Protection System and GSA's continuous diagnostic and mitigation up to the job? Is the agile strategy the right approach for federal cyber security? Better suited to industry, agile emphasis is to field function first and fast, and refine it as time goes on. The result is a high level of technical debt, the accumulation of incorrect, incomplete, and neglected process, management, and engineering elements. Did the OPM follow the DHS special clauses for high-risk systems designed for sensitive information? Did DHS prepare a requirements traceability matrix to be done in accordance with FIPS 199, taking into account confidentiality, integrity, and availability? And did a not less than moderate assessment result for personally identifiable information, sensitive personally identifiable information, and sensitive security information result? Is the nation's critical infrastructure and its resiliency also at similar risk? Is the nation's supply chain software assurance also at similar risk? How is it that the 2015 OPM cyber attack was able to penetrate all 3 tiers of the NIST Special Pubs 800-161 Supply Chain Risk Management for Federal Information Systems and Organizations, including Tier 1, Organization and Governance, Tier 2, Mission and Business Process, and Tier 3, Information Systems? At the end of the day, what lessons have been learned from the 2015 OPM cyber attack? Here is my contact information. I would be happy to receive questions and have discussions with people on this important subject.